I decided to record my journey of attempting to get my period back and to gain weight again. Welcome to my pantry. I usually eat my avo, cheese and seaweed together. We ran out of seawead and won the last avo. So I don't know what I'm gonna have, but maybe I'll just veg out and also have noodles later. After the berries, I actually feel hungry. I've been feeling quite a gnawing hunger because I feel like my body knows I need more nutrition. A year ago, so also November 2021, I lost my period and I didn't really realize after 4 months of lockdown, because I was just in lockdown, you know, every day feels the same, you don't really notice anything. And so I didn't realize until we really were getting out of lockdown, and I went to the GP. She basically attributed it to stress and lots of changes in my body because I had lost quite a lot of weight since finishing school. I was always the same weight pretty much from year 8 to 12. So literally for 4 years, I was the same weight. I was very consistent and my period was always quite consistent as well. I'm pretty sure it basically came at the exact time every month. Then I got to my schoolies period holiday, and that was where I was holidaying with family. And so after quite a few weeks overseas, I realized that I was at the heaviest that I've ever been, and I've actually never reached that point ever again. For some reason, without trying, within a couple of days, I had lost that weight. It was really random, but I basically had lost it already by the time I went back to Sydney. And then after that, I went through a really tough time in my life, and I basically just kept losing weight until it was somewhat consistent. Then last year, when I was in lockdown, you know how everyone spends so much more time on socials, and I was really wanting to get into modeling as my side hustle. Whenever I logged into Instagram, I always felt like I was just a model, and I kind of forgot about every single aspect of my life. It was just like, I'm a model, even though in reality I didn't really model that much. So that's what kind of made me get more into being insecure about my height and being a petite model. And then I thought, okay, if I'm petite, then I probably need to be skinny. And that wasn't really a full-on goal that I set for myself. It wasn't like I'm going to be as skinny as possible because I'm so short. It was just a subconscious mindset that I look back on and recognize now. So that's what happened, and is also part of the reason why I let go of modeling a little bit more. I was searching all these YouTube videos because I was freaking out, and I didn't really ever think of my period as a sign of health because everyone complains about the pain, and my pain is quite bad. It's quite heavy as well compared to normal people, but I always thought of it as a nuisance. You know, if I skipped 1 or 2 periods here and there, because I think I have at certain times in my life, it was kind of like, oh yay, no pain for this month. But once I realized that it had been 4 months, I was actually scared because I was watching these YouTube videos of girls who hadn't had their period for 7 years, and they had tried every single method they could think of and it just wasn't coming back. And now I get this feeling where it almost feels like your body is a little bit hollow. It's like your body knows that having your period is actually healthy. And even though it pains me to say that, because obviously periods are such a nuisance, they really are a sign of a female's health. What has happened these past few weeks is that I've had COVID and then vertigo right after the other. And so I went to the doctor about my vertigo, but also mentioned the loss of period. And she basically said that it was probably just weight loss. So I also haven't been eating because during both COVID and vertigo, I have felt nauseated or just a loss of appetite in general. And so I've basically been too sick to eat. And so I don't know if the last 3 months I've lost those 2 kilos due to my sickness, so maybe I've only just lost it in the past month, or whether it was gradual and whether I have been unconsciously losing weight and I'm not sure why. So whether it's the sickness or in general, I do need to get my period back. It has been about 3 weeks since I was meant to have my last period, so in a week's time I am meant to be getting it. Also, haven't really ever had a great diet in my life. I've always been a very sweet tooth person, and so I know that that has to change at some point, because if it doesn't bite me in the ass now, it is gonna later. So I do want to fix that, but I'm also too lazy to. Here's the avo with the cheese, and I just put this that you can get from Aldi over it. I'll see how it tastes because I usually put the seaweed instead. Yesterday, I pretty much just had fried rice dish for lunch, and I got really hungry by the end of the workday, and I basically went to get some sushi, and then I had a really nice dinner with my friend. It actually only cost $40 for just me. Then I had frozen yogurt in Surrey Hills, and that was $10. So it was really, really nice, and I'm just about to go and microwave some more fried rice today, which I already had for lunch at work. It has been a dozen days, and my period is still not back. I'm thinking that if I haven't gotten it back by the end of the year, I do need to go and see a doctor because I am starting to get worried, considering that last year, I think it took about a fortnight to gain weight, and I can't remember exactly, but I'm gonna say about a month to get the period back. I also remember getting a scan for another health issue around that time, and it actually revealed that I had a huge cyst that was basically about to burst, which I think means that my period was about to come. So I kind of had that relief and the knowledge that it was going to come eventually. This time around, I'm a bit more up in the air. I mean, it's the second time it's happened, so my usual doctor was just like, try and gain weight. And I weighed myself at work. I don't think it's the most reliable scale. It's used for mail packaging usually, but apparently I have gained 1.5 kilos around there. I feel like I definitely have more meat where my love handles are, as well as my arms, and those are usually my best indicators of whether I've lost or gained weight. So I'm definitely not skin and bone like I was right after COVID and vertigo, but it's worrying just because I've gained weight, but I haven't gained the period back. In the past week or so, I also had another sort of health scare to do with my digestive system. Not going to go into details because it's a little bit gross, and I feel like I'm still trying to be solving the tail end of that. I actually feel very unhealthy without a period. I actually do feel a really random mixture of bloated and hollow. That's what it feels like to not get your period. And part of it might be psychological just because I am stressed about it, but it's a definite feeling in my stomach where it feels like there's nothing there and there should be something there. Not that I love period pain and I get really aggressive symptoms when I get my period, but it still feels very unhealthy, and it does feel like your body knows something is wrong.
Lazy Sunday mornings, hiding under covers. I don't mind staying in with you. Play your favorite movie, laying right beside me. I don't mind when it's just us two. That corner coffee shop we like to go.
I'm about to sleep, but before I forget, today I woke up with a lot of boob pain and cramping, and it just really feels like I'm going to get my period. I thought it might come by the time I sleep tonight, but it hasn't, so I'm hoping I'm gonna wake up with my period tomorrow.
It's been a couple hours of trying to sleep, and I've had the worst mood swings. I had just had a cry, took it out on Bill, and I just feel so bad. Like, I can't sleep because I have to keep peeing.
I've been waiting for my period all morning. Didn't come when I woke up, hasn't come when I've been to the bathroom, so the pain is also less than yesterday. I still have the sore boobs and the cramping, but it's strange because I don't have any blood. It's been a couple of days of just straight up pain and nothing has happened. I am currently watching YouTubers who have actually posted about what it was like to get their recovery period, aka the first one back after having amenorrhea, which is the actual condition that having no periods is called. So I've been watching them. I do actually have most of the symptoms that they talk about, which is great, but usually when I get this sort of intense pain, I know that my period is definitely coming, and I was just so sure that it would have come by now. So I'm just getting a little bit worried, which is why these videos are making me feel slightly better, but it's going to be really random if it just lasts a really long time without actually getting the period coming, because last time I had amenorrhea last year, it was for 4 months, and then this time around it's only been a couple months. So I just feel like my body shouldn't have to be working this much harder to give me the symptoms but no bleeding. So that's my update. Nothing's happened. Guys, I got my period back. I'm so happy. It has been 70 days since my last period. I'm really happy that this time I caught it because I now track my period compared to last year. And I actually just tried to eat straight up. It took a lot longer than I thought it would. I'm planning at the moment to put on about another kilo and see where that goes. But thanks for following on my journey. I just did want to document it in some way to help raise awareness for people like me who get amenorrhea. So thank you for watching.